In this video, we're going to show you how to install the ABS speed sensor on your Subaru Legacy, located behind your front wheels. Using a 19mm thin wall socket, I'm going to go ahead, loosen and remove our lug nuts and our locking key. Go ahead and grab that wheel, remove it, and set it aside. Now with the wheel off, we can go ahead and crank that knuckle outward. It's going to give us access to our ABS wire right here, and it bolts into our knuckle. Now I'm going to start by using a 10mm socket here with my ratchet, and we're going to loosen and remove this bolt. Now when tackling a job like this here, it's always great if you can go ahead and pre-spray it down with some rust penetrant, let it soak for a little bit. And go ahead and remove this bolt. We're going to be reusing that, so set that aside. Right here is another bolt holding the wire to the strut itself. It's a 12mm. I might get that bolt to a point where we can spin that out by hand. And you guessed it, hold on to that bolt. We'll be reusing that one later as well. Now, the next thing we want to do is we want to try and twist this out of the knuckle. These don't always come out that easy. Sometimes they break off inside the knuckle. Once again, spray it down with some rust penetrant. Let that soak for a little bit. I'm going to use a pair of pliers here, and I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to just try and twist it. You can see a little bit of movement there. We actually have some movement. That is very positive. If we have that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this wire and gently start to pull this out. Sometimes this breaks off flush where you end up having to use a drill to go ahead and step it. So use a small drill bit, a little bit larger to the point where it's just a thin piece of this plastic in there. And then you just use a pick to clean out the port and then clean it up. Now you do want to clean up this area here before installing the new sensor. So I'm going to use some spray solvent. Kind of flush that out, get any sort of debris out of there. Wipe that down, get that ready for installation of the new part. But before we get the new part in there, we do need to follow this wire up and remove the rest of it. Now if you follow this wire over here, it loops up and attaches to the inside of the fender. So a 12mm bolt, loosen and remove that. Good, and put that bolt with all the other hardware you're collecting. And then this wire goes up and attaches or goes through a rubber grommet into the fender, which goes into the engine bay. So we need to go ahead and pull this out. Just give that a little tug, and it's going to pop that rubber grommet out there. Now we need to go up into the engine bay and disconnect it up inside there. Now I'm going to be using a long screwdriver here, and it has a little bend on the end, but basically what you need is something long with a point on the end. We're going to use this to disconnect the connector due to the angle and the position of it down inside the frame itself. We're going to feed this down right between the master cylinder reservoir and the strut tower here, down to the connector. Now here's the connector right here. Now I'm going to reach down, finagle your hand down inside. I'm going to press on the little tab on the back side and just pull that sensor connector out. There it is. Now if you follow this up, right here is another little retainer. Go ahead and pop this out of the side of the strut tower. Doesn't matter if it breaks, you're replacing it anyways. So now what we can do is reach inside the fender well, and we can go ahead and start pulling that wire through. Now with that out, I'm simply going to grab the other harness, the new unit, and I'm going to feed that back through the hole. And now we're going to reach down and grab that connector. Gonna line this up. Insert, press it in. You're gonna feel and hear it engage. And then we have our little plastic retainer button right here. You can see it right here. I'll go ahead and pop that into the strut tower here. There it is, that's locked in. We're going to go back to the inside of the wheel well and insert that rubber grommet. Now let's get our rubber grommet inserted in here. There's not a lot of room to work, but do the best you can. Sometimes you just need some assistance of a screwdriver or a trim tool to go ahead and get that piece kind of pressed up and inside there. Let's go ahead and bring our bracket up here. Now this does mount up like this. Go ahead and get that bolt started. I'm simply going to go ahead and zip that one right down, snug it down. There it is. I'm going to bring this over to the side of the strut. Now the tabs themselves have to lock on to the strut tab. And let's go ahead and snug that one down. Now we can go ahead and install the sensor into the knuckle. And bring that over here, insert that. Go ahead and take that bolt, your last 10 millimeter right here. Once you have that bolt in there, I'm going to go ahead and gently snug this down. Once that's bottomed out, just give it a little bit more. It doesn't have to be super tight. Now you're all installed here. We can now go ahead and install your wheel. Now if you happen to have a check engine light on or a ABS light due to this, you don't want to go ahead and use your scan tool. We'll clear that code and then go for a road test. Go ahead and take your wheel. Get that lined up on the studs. Ideally, you want to go ahead and get all of the lug nuts started by hand first, and then we'll come on back and snug them down. We just want to gently snug these. Do this in a crisscross or star pattern. Now let's go ahead and torque them. You want to get and torque down your lug nuts to 88 foot-pounds. Ideally, you want to do this in a crisscross or star pattern. And you're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.